Hey, I'm in the UK, everybody, and it's 7:36 p.m. currently, local time, and this is a random stream. Why not? Because, well, I hung out with Az for a couple of days. That was amazing. He got sick as hell, and I have to start out, greetings everyone, by apologizing to Sargon of Akkad, to Carl. I was supposed to be on a show today, and I greatly overestimated how quickly I could get through the UK, and it would have been a 4-hour trip each way, so I couldn't make it. So I apologize. I will get on a show. I had to do it in person. I offered to do it remotely, but they can't do it. They were nothing but wonderful. So subscribe to the Lotus Eaters. I watch them every morning. It's pretty much the first video I watch every morning because they're up earlier than I am in America, and they are good guys. I freaking love Sargon and everybody there. Just wanted to let you know. Hail, chat. How are you? How are you? I got Mrs. Nerdrotic lounging in the bed on Instagram, whatever the chicks do. Probably looking at TikTok or whatever, watching Dan Vask songs. Fuck. I don't know. But yes, I'm back in London. I'm back in London. And then we're hopefully, if I don't get sick, Quarterback Garrett, we're going to Paris. We're going to Paris. I am right now. Where are we? Canary Wharf. Canary Wharf. I'm overlooking Canary Wharf. I don't see any ferries. There's no ferries flying around, but there's some boats, and there's a very dirty looking river. The Thames, whatever it's called. I'm glad you like the thumbnail. I thought that represents Ahsoka pretty well. And yes, all hail Dan Vask, by the way. Ahsoka is everything wrong with Disney Star Wars. Absolutely everything wrong. It's everything wrong with Disney, to be honest with you. That was the original title. But it's everything wrong with Disney Star Wars. Welcome to the Nerdrotics who put up with, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to do the stream for like 3 hours. Oh, no, I'm going to do it in half an hour instead. So love you guys. Thanks. We have Rector Angus here, Dave N, Anthony Shaddix, Mathos 300, Eric K and his wrench, Smoo the DJ, Jim Halpert, hello, your boy Fargoth, greeting the Temesvar, whether sure, why not? Dr. Dave, Tyler Shelton, Scott Kerr, Vor Axelon. Oh, look at all these members here. You know, it's all about the members. Am I right, ladies? It is. It is. I have an invite out. Not sure if that person can make it. There is somebody who's pretty upset about Ahsoka right now. Wants to talk about it, but I don't know if the timing will be right. I did watch it this morning. By the way, just hanging out with Az was this. I'm going to make this sound as gay as possible. It was magical. It was so much fun. And I understand why he lives where he lives. It is God's country. It is gorgeous up there. It is freaking gorgeous up there in the north. And that's, you know, kind of where I want to do. If I come back to the UK, we're not going to do London. Okay. We're not going to do London. I've done London. I'm over big cities. It was a 2-hour train ride from the north to London, and then an hour cab ride to go about 5 miles. Yeah, 5 miles. 1 hour in a cab. Lovely cab driver. His wife is from Texas. But yeah, it's a nightmare. I don't know how you drive here. I don't know how people live here. There's a lot less poop on the street than San Francisco, and they seem to have bounced back from COVID better than most California American cities, not as well as Texas or Florida, you know, which had sane policies, but they've certainly bounced back. And it's good to see like that it's vibrant and there's a lot of people around. And I miss Texas. I do. I'm almost ready to go home. I'm about ready to go home. But the meetup was beyond all expectations. It was crazy. They kicked us out because they wanted to close. And you guys were great. The Brits brought it. I was floored. I was humbled. It was great hanging out with Critical Drinker and Disparu and Quarterback Garrett and Adam Krigler and X-Ray Girl. Quarterback Garrett, Krigler, and X-Ray Girl were kind of working the floor. X-Ray Girl was working the shots. If you know what I'm saying. She was a little freaking hammered the whole time. And yeah, it was fantastic. And my boy Shad, I just want to announce that he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's exactly the way he is in his videos. He's really enthusiastic, passionate, and a good human being. And I saw what happened on Twitter with that other spineless punk. And good riddance. I know it sucks because I think they had just done something together, and I don't know all the details, but I think it was something about his tweet, basically saying, well, if you're compelling me to like something that I'm not really into, I wouldn't ask you to do that about my religion, which is a very an adult take and how most people think. But that coward decided to make a big scene about it and disassociate himself with Shad. Well, for one, biggest mistake you can make as a content creator, handle that shit behind the scenes. Don't be gay about it, but he was, and Shad responded in kind, as he should have. And I stand with Shad till the end. And yeah, I'm as Razorfist said, I'm over spineless creators like that. Screw them. Whatever. But Shad, you know what? Shad's fine. He's still in the UK, by the way. Hopefully I get to see him again. It's on Twitter. I don't know all the details, but another person in the sword community very publicly distanced himself from Shad, and did it because he probably got a few emails going, "You are with that toxic person," not thinking about the thousands of other people who don't give a shit about Shad's religion, and just want to talk about swords, which he never brings into the Shadiversity channel, right? So, we all had to go through this. Those of us, and you too, you in the chat, you in the fellowship. This is why the fellowship exists. We all had to go through this. We spoke our minds, which we are allowed to do in a free society. And the authoritative assholes who pretend to be counterculture turn out to just be tools. And I mean, not the hardware kind of tools. I mean, the tools that are very short and shriveled in between these little impotent punks' legs. Those kind of tools. They end up to be that kind of a tool for the system. And that's what they want. They want you to have a bunch of impotent, functioning tools. So that's why we're here. That's why we had that meetup. What I heard the most, what I continually hear the most, and I'm not the only one who hears this, all of you, we thought we were going crazy because they're telling us 2 + 2 = 5. And we're like, it does not equal 5. And then we're called a bigot. You're not crazy. They're evil. And they're evil, and they're also cowards. They're cowards, and it's making them do evil things out of fear. And this is something that they preach, like fear leads to division and authoritarianism. You're absolutely fucking right. And you are playing right into it every fucking time. And it's permeated through our entire culture. It's poison. It's cancer. That's why we call it out. That's why the fellowship is here. That's why I'm so freaking proud of the fellowship. Don't fuck with the fellowship. All right. Actman and others have just found out what happens when you do that. We just recently beat the shit out of $1 trillion company with the Rings of Power. You think some fucking content creators who stream games are going to stand up against that shit? Hey, speak your mind, but know all the facts. And of course, we were coming off of and his rant, which is one of many, by the way, one of his top 10. I don't know if it's his greatest one, though. He even admitted that. Like, he's had so many great ones. So now Dan Vass is just going to be spending his time trying to clip as streams, which I am completely for. I think Dan should give up singing, save his voice for a couple years, and just clip as rants for Twitter. Just, until Rings of Power Season 2 comes out. But it's been quite a ride, but we are gaining the upper hand. That's why you're seeing them kind of freak out. They're like a cornered, ignorant wild animal. So I'm just here to ramble, by the way, and hopefully some other people show up. If they don't, that's cool. Show up in the chat if you're here. I could bring some people on because I'm just I had some free time in the UK. I am still making videos, by the way. I recorded one till 6 a.m. in our Airbnb, and it's in the hands of Perry. Perry needs time, and he gets all the time he needs to edit a video. Not sure when it's going to be out. When he's ready. When he's ready. That's usually the time. Quarterback Garrett made it home. He got sick. And I just thought about, he had tweeted the other day that he was in Heathrow taking a leak, and they played the Lord of the Rings theme, and it was the most epic piss he's ever taken. Then he got sick, and I was just wondering if they if they played the Witch King theme or the theme of Mordor when he was in the plane bathroom. Just asking, Garrett. Shad's YouTube channel is fine, as far as I know. If I think I would have heard if something's wrong, but Shad's YouTube channel he's got Shadiversity, where saw somebody mentioning it in chat. He's got Shadiversity, where he talks about swords and many other things, and then he's got Night's Watch, where he covers TV shows and does the pop culture stuff. Yes, remember Star Wars? I am starting not to remember Star Wars. I think Star Wars, for a lot of people, is just an idea of something that they used to like. I'll give you an example. You may have heard, excuse me, I'm fighting a little stuffiness here. I'll mute. There we go. Got a cough button. You might have heard that I owned a comic shop. So I sold comics to people. I had a lot of subscribers. They would have me pull and hold their comics, and they'd come in and get their stacks on Wednesday or once a month, whatever we worked out ahead of time. And every once in a while, there would be a guy who came in, mostly guys, by the way, who bought a stack of comics, but then he'd mention, I'm not even reading them anymore. And we'd have the talk. We'd have the talk of like, are you really into them anymore? I appreciate your money. I appreciate you. But if you're just buying something habitually and not reading it, you might not be into them anymore. And that's all right. That's okay. But, I don't want you getting in trouble with your wife or, if you've got the money, that's cool. And, it might sound crazy, but I actually liked my customers as human beings. So we'd have that talk, and it happened like 5 or 6 times in my 10 years, not many times, but I think that's collectively where the Star Wars fandom is. They're buying a bunch of comic books they're not reading. They see an occasional member berry, and they remember what was good. So they like the idea of it, but they don't like it. Just saying that's a possibility. That's what's going on right now. I watched Ahsoka. I felt nothing, as I feel nothing with every bit of Star Wars. I'm not the biggest prequel fan, so seeing Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin in a dream sequence that literally meant nothing. It meant nothing. And yes, it was a dream sequence. It took place in the world between worlds, maybe, but it was all in Ahsoka's head. So she could become Ahsoka the White again, although she had already done that at the end of Rebels, but they retconned that. Don't really care. Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka is nothing. It's just absolutely nothing. There's no personality there. They had a little girl playing Ahsoka. She was better, but it still wasn't good. I'm not going to say any of this was good, because it wasn't. Because it was such a waste of time, and it was meaningless storytelling, and it was filler. We are now 5 episodes in. No Thrawn. Didn't see Ray Stevenson. Sabine wasn't in this. And it's just there to fill time. It's padding. You have about 2 hours of script. in a 6-hour TV show again. Every single Disney Marvel, Disney Star Wars series, maybe outside of Andor. And I'll even say maybe outside of Miss Marvel, because I didn't watch Miss Marvel and I didn't watch the rest of Andor. So you will be the judge of that. But I've seen everything else, absolutely everything else. And that is the case for every one of the series. It's 2 hours of script, stretched over 6 to 8 episodes. They don't know how to make television. You compare that to something like House of the Dragon or One Piece, where in the first episode of both of those series, you get more character development, plot development, action, and world building, again, in the first episode than you do in the entire series of just pick one. Secret Invasion, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, go back to WandaVision. You just go back and they all get pulverized by the first episode of One Piece or House of the Dragon. In other words, One Piece or House of the Dragon, that's how you do it. How you don't do it, Disney Plus. One Piece is a show I didn't think I'd give a crap about. And I saw it because I saw Flash and Jeremy both say it was good. I'm like, oh, well, they're my friends. I like them. I trust their judgment for the most part. Well, I mean, except for Jeremy when it comes to like food, fashion, everything else. But no, I trust their judgment. And I'm like, hey, what the hell? Let's watch it. So a group of us sat down and watched it. It was Quarter Black, me, X-Ray Girl, Mark the Cyborg, Shad, Adam Krigler. And we watched the first couple episodes. We're like, hey, we don't hate this. I don't hate this. I thought it'd be just annoying as hell. And it's not. And watched the rest of it. And it was brilliant. And Mahler, we asked him to watch one episode before Real BBC yesterday. And he's like, sure. And I guess it was late at night. He was going to put on one episode and he ended up watching all 8. That's saying something. So we have now, like with the Rings of Power compared to House of the Dragon, we have Ahsoka now running against a show that's actually a TV show. That's a normal TV show that does pretty normal things. And it's got a hero's journey. It doesn't really subvert any expectations. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's adapting, an anime with tons of volumes. And it did it pretty well. And now I haven't seen the anime, so I wouldn't know. Total normie when it comes to anime. I read some of the manga, and it seems like it's in the spirit of the manga, which is all we really ask for. It's fun. It's absolutely fun, and it has tons of heart, and it's got some pretty good payoffs, emotional payoffs. That again, it's not like you can't see them coming, but they deliver so well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well executed entertainment. That's all you ask for. Ahsoka is a pale comparison to One Piece. So I would highly recommend you watch that instead and not waste your time searching for something that's not there. Star Wars is dead. Keep in mind, what follows up Ahsoka is The Acolyte. Who was the showrunner of The Acolyte? Former Harvey Weinstein assistant Leslie Headland, the Judas Goat, the woman who led the other women, led the lambs to the other goats to the slaughter. Then wrote a play about it and won awards and got a TV show. I think it was called Russian Doll. I think that was it. And everything's fine because she has the right politics. She has the right politics. Oh, goody, The Acolyte. Yeah, can't effing wait. Absolutely evil. Evil. Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this. Oh my God. How did Ahsoka survive in the water for 10 hours? How long was she out there? Doesn't matter. I was watching my good friend Chris Gore earlier talking about the show, and and Alan, and there was that shot of her waking up on, I think, the Ghost, right? And the sunlight's on her, and you can see that they CG'd her, whatever. I don't know what the hell's on Ahsoka's head, but whatever's on Ahsoka's head, you could tell it was CG'd, and it was awful. It was freaking awful. So I mean, I don't know what to say about Star Wars anymore, except I think it really, Ahsoka really encapsulates what is wrong with Disney Star Wars, which is it's just about itself. It has no larger meaning. It's not telling the hero's journey. This one is so self-referential. It just assumes you watched all of Rebels and the Clone Wars, and I watched all the Clone Wars and half of Rebels, and I don't care what's going on, and it's not as well written as those shows. And I'm not saying those shows were well written. You certainly have a different perspective when you're watching something when it's animated to when it's live action. There's a lot more verisimilitude with the live action for obvious reasons. It's live action, so you cannot treat it like an animated show, which they're doing, which all of Dave Filoni, that's all he's capable of. Star Wars, there's no fixing this. You can throw out any idea. You can erase this, make a Darth Vader series. Doesn't matter. It needs to be shelved for a decade. That's the only way you could possibly save this as a brand in the future. I doubt that'll happen, though. Same goes for Star Trek. And we'll find out with Doctor Who in a couple of short months. In a couple of short months, we'll find out if it's too little, too late. I'm guessing it is, but we'll see. The great Frank Gore. Hey, tell Chris thanks for saying I was like all screwed up on the time, and I didn't want to step on him, so I felt kind of bad. But tell Frank thanks. Let's see how we're doing here. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna babble. I'm gonna babble a little bit. I don't care if people want to enjoy Ahsoka. Don't let me ruin your good time. Life is too short. There's no way there's no way you can sit there and tell me that this is Star Wars. If you go back and pick any scene from the original trilogy, just pick any scene and watch it for 5 minutes, and then go watch something from Ahsoka, and you tell me they are even in the same universe. They're not. For one, missing John Williams' music, missing better directing, better editing, missing George, missing characters we actually care about. So, yeah, Disney used to put things in the vault back when they were, I guess, a real company. Never been the biggest fan, but they need to do that with both Marvel and Star Wars. I did find out yesterday that the Marvels, this is going to shock you if you didn't hear it. So be prepared. I hope you're all sitting down. I wouldn't be holding a hot drink because you might throw it. The Marvels tested lower than any MCU film. The Marvels tested lower than any MCU film. That is why they're not going to delay it. They just want to put it out and get away from it. I am surprised they delayed Echo, which I think could put the series in danger, because another thing I heard from a very in the know person is they tried to shit can it and couldn't. So maybe they've got their opportunity with the strike. The strike has provided many opportunities, and not to spoil my next video, but as you hear the Writers Guild of America and the Film Actors Guild stating victory is just around the corner, we are more united than ever. Our demands aren't crazy. We want immortality and 18-karat gold toilet seats in all of our mandatory writers' rooms. These aren't kooky demands. The producers are getting exactly what they want. They're starving people out. Now, the producers created this problem by offering deals to Ava DuVernay, which they have now canceled. And didn't she just come out and say you're basically racist if you liked Oppenheimer over her dumb movie about some Pulitzer Prize winning reporter? Yeah, she's it's such a shocker that nobody wants to work with her anymore. And that she was fired from The New Gods, that was supposed to be written by Tom King. And they suckered Marvel into making the Eternals. So if you know the story behind that, Marvel became very reactionary to DC because Marvel was really embarrassed by Wonder Woman's success. And then a bunch of people back in 2018, 2019 were asking Kevin Feige over and over again, where's your female characters? It's not enough female characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he said, oh, well, we're going to have twice as many. We're going to do twice as many because we got embarrassed by one film. That wasn't even that great. It was okay. And then they became very reactionary, which is exactly what DC had done to them. So it was announced that Ava DuVernay and Tom King were going to do Jack Kirby's The New Gods. Then all of a sudden, right after that, it's like, oh, well, we're going to do the Eternals, and we're going to have a woman of color direct it with no experience, and with Chloe Zhao. But they actually made it. It was fucking terrible. I know many of you haven't seen it. If you're out sailing the high seas, you want a good laugh, watch it in double speed. It's fucking awful. It is terrible. Terrible. We got Jay Topai for $1.99 says, hail Gary and hail the fellowship. Hail the fellowship, who again showed up strong. We oversold our event. I doubt we're going to be welcome back at that bar again. It's very different than an American bar, right? Since there's no tipping here in the UK, I don't think the owner was the owner there. No, the owner wasn't there. So when we go to like bars in America, you guys show up strong. You buy a lot of drinks. You make the owners of the bars very happy to where they're like, please come back. Please come back. We'll give you the whole place for an entire day for free. Just please come back. Here, not the same. The staff was fine. They were friendly, but they wanted to really go home. And also, you guys quit drinking. That's weird because you guys are freaking alkies over here. But you quit drinking at midnight, which is strange. But that's probably why you guys are able to get up in the work in the morning, and we generally don't. It's just different. That's all. I'm 50 today and got my old gray get off my lawn card. It's an honor to get that. GJJ. I've had mine, and now I have a lawn to where if any kids get on it, I can yell at them, and I can't fucking wait. Being old is awesome. All right. One of the best parts of being old is you get to watch younger people doing the same stupid shit you used to do, and they're not going to listen. So you just kick back and go, ha ha, that's funny. It was good to meet you on Saturday. I apologize if I misidentified anyone. Ram Bam 3000 for £5 British. It's all good. You didn't. You didn't get my pronouns right, so I'm deeply offended. Anano Mas has been a member for 26 months. Thank you. I watched Ahsoka, and it was so slow. Ezra Bridger was able to transverse the space between galaxies riding a sloth that was high on acid. Yes. It's a slow show. It's a very slow show, like all the other Disney Plus shows are. I mean, oh God, Bob Iger coming back to lord over his failures has been one of the greatest joys of this year. It has been glorious. And how can you say that? It's a company where it's employing people. It's like, I feel sorry for the people who are caught, who are just regular folks working there. I would say go work at Universal, find another job, because Disney's going down, or it's going to be sold. And if it's sold, half of you are going to not have your jobs. And the whole theory of Bob Iger, it's being devalued so another company can buy it. Well, whether that is on purpose or not, it's being devalued, and it's possible for a couple of companies to buy them. Don't know if the government will let it happen. I wouldn't want the government to let it happen, but Disney was able to buy Fox. But imagine Disney gobbles up Fox, and then Apple gobbles up Disney. And if anybody thinks Apple is going to be better at it, they're as woke, if not more woke, than Disney. So they won't be. Although that Godzilla series on Apple Plus looks pretty fucking good. Wednesday Night Tights says Poopa Chalupa, who's been a member for 9 months. Cheers. Congratulations on being announced to go on the Lotus Eaters. You missed it, but hey, it was a good episode. I know it was. Will you try to be there before going back? I can't. I got so I just got booked up, and the second week is supposed to be kind of like for me and Melissa. It's supposed to be the 20th anniversary portion of our trip. It turned out to be 4 days, but yeah, we're heading to Paris tomorrow. As long as I don't get sick, If anything, puts pay to you being organized. I'm not organized. But I apologize to Carl profusely. Gutted I had to miss the meetup because of work. Ryan, I'm sorry you missed it too, but we'll be back. We will definitely be back, but not in London. John Nees has been a member for 14 months. Oi, oi, mate. Hail to you. A female clone formerly known as for $10. Hi, Gary. I finally assumed my true form. Now I am confusingly attracted to myself. Hail Wednesday night tights. Hail to you. Hey, somebody's in our front yard. Hope that's our kids. For the Emperor, member of 16 months. Hail. Have you finished One Piece? I have. And I have every intention of doing a review on it. Probably when I get back. I'm going to watch it. I've got it downloaded on my phone, and it is a 9-hour flight, and I can watch the whole series on the way home again. Hail Mrs. Azzy, says Silver Space, who's been a member for 45 months. Holy shit. And a member for 37 months. Big Worm. Hail, Gary. Hail, chat. Wow, 37 months. Haven't looked at this free one in a while. Many more months to come. Live long and prosper. Cheers. Right back at you. Big Raj, thank you for the $1.99 super sticker in Canadian. Thank you for bothering, says Marvel Mind Trick for $4.99. Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my job now. I mean, that's just a fact of life. My job is to cover pop culture. And if I'm going to talk about something, I better know what I'm talking about. And if I'm not watching it, then I can't really talk about it. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Thank you for being one of my inspirations to start my own channel. Hail FNT. And that is Night Strike for $5. Good for you. Started as a hobby. Have fun. That's the most important part. Whatever happens after that is gravy, baby. Jessica Lugo is a new member. Welcome, Jessica. Listen to my voice. I sound like Peter Brady, right? It's a little hoarse, but that could be from the meetup and, talking, hanging out with Az for 2 days. It's not like there was a lot of quiet moments. We found this killer hotel. I'm not going to tell anybody where it is. It is nestled in the English countryside. It's a stone building. It did have giant spiders. It had a spider in our room this big. I wouldn't let Melissa kill it. But it also had like the best food, the best restaurant. The staff was great. It was awesome. And it was cheap. And a good playlist in the pub. Becca Robertson for $4.99. Yes, please, Gary, due north next time you're in the UK. We can get to you easily from Leicester. Sorry we missed you this time, Becca and Adi. It's okay. We'll be back. We'll definitely be back. Hopefully we'll have more people with us. We'll get Jeremy and Ryan and the gang out here. Glad to hear the trip was going well for you and the missus, and the man meld with Az, Star Killer, the Silverback Slayer was great. Also, well as visit Shad and his missus, which was awesome hanging out with them, whom are adorable, shredding Wheel of Time. They are adorable. And hanging out with Shad for the day to go to Clarkson's farm was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Going to Diddley Squat was one of the highlights of the vacation. ARM Productions for $4.99. I'm also Mormon, like Shad, and I'm afraid of losing friends over it. I feel like a lot of people misunderstanding the religion. They do. And I would say, that's why I don't care what religion you are. I'm not going to judge you for your religion. And we might differ on a few beliefs, but that's no reason to not talk to somebody. One thing Shad doesn't, he doesn't force it's his religion. It's a personal spiritual choice. Okay. Kind of like AA is mine. Right. So I don't judge people for that. It's funny that the people who are demanding you do not judge them are the most judgmental. No, it's not funny. It's typical, unfortunately. Kenzo in the UK, member for 12 months, says, was great to meet you at the meetup, sir. It was great to meet you. Oh my God, it was so fun. Phil Tycho is a new member. Cheers. And Keegan Kemp for 70 Zardozes. See, here's a Zardoz right here. You're going to see it's going to slowly come up thanks to this lovely internet. Like Sean Bean said in Equilibrium, be careful where you tread because you tread upon my dreams. Exactly. Well, Hollywood's treading all over everything right now. And it's getting dire. It's getting really dire when it comes to the strike. You're starting to see, for one, they want the producers to break up the ATMMP. I call it the armpit. I can't even remember what the acronym is, and I don't care. But it's a contractual alliance, so they can't just if they technically can break away and sign their own deal. I think Netflix would probably be the first, but it would undercut everything they're trying to do, and I don't think they really can without getting sued by another big company. Loved taking photos at the meetup. Much love. Stuart, thanks for going, by the way. Thanks for the £2. You did a great job. There's so many. We're going to collect them all and we'll put them up, and we have a little trailer. It's good stuff. Is this live as a new member? Hail, welcome. Hey, Gary, what did you think of the supposed alien bodies that Mexico revealed? They look like stone statues to me. Yeah, 421 Spaceman, $7.99. If you crack them open, they're filled with fentanyl. They're fentanyl aliens. No, they look like the Gaia mummies from 2018. And it's the same guy. Look up the Gaia mummies. They were totally fake. It is interesting that happened today. And I think there was some political thing that happened. It's just interesting that these distractions are well timed. Has the Jedi Order ever inducted a non-Force user? Not that I know of. Has Hogwarts let in a squib? Have they let in a normal human? No. But this is Disney Star Wars, so anybody can be anything they want to as long as it's not a white male. So the thing that Ahsoka is missing is dudes. The things that a Star Wars is missing is male energy. As Chris and Alan talked about, it's not even realistic. Like how many women, and it's the same in Star Trek, by the way. It's an incompetent matriarchy. So for one, it's counterproductive because it makes the women look stupid as fuck, and it's not realistic. You lose all verisimilitude when you that the casting was done to check a box and not to, I don't know, make you feel like you're watching something real and immersive. Because they don't respect it. They don't like Star Wars. They don't give a shit about Star Wars. And it's abundantly clear. Same goes for Rings of Power. Same goes for Marvel. None of these people respect it. You know who respected the source material? The people who made One Piece. I don't even know the source material. And you can tell. Eric K for $5. What? Gary owned a comic shop? When did that happen? Why did you not tell me? I knew that was part of the comic book shop owners cabal. I was part of the cabal. They didn't like me very much, though. Well, some of them were really nice. Hang on. Nervous drinking. That's better. That's better. Gary used to own a comic book shop. No way, says Smooth the DJ. I did. I went to one here. I wasn't super impressed with it. It was a Forbidden Planet, which used to be awesome. Amazed to hear you're in the UK. Stick to the countrysides, but if you accidentally find yourself in Nottingham, we drove through it in a train today. I'll treat you to a coffee. We do have beautiful countrysides, and we are not all bad. Hope your time here is great. Cheers, Helsons, for 20 British pounds. I was briefly flung through Nottingham in a train. Tyler Reeves, a member for 29 months. Hail. Hi, Gary. Hope your day is great. It's great. Hanging out with Mrs. Nerdrotic all day. She's putting up with me. I don't know how great her day was, but mine was great. Thumbs up? I got a thumbs up. All right. I'll take it. I know it's a Suarez video, but I'll take it to Disney in general. This week started with strong rumors in Brazil that Apple is going to buy Disney, but how is it in the US? This is good news, or if it happened, Disney/Apple would continue to produce woke shit. Allison Eduardo, I'm going to get your last name here in a second. As soon as I Coutu, sorry. It's not good. Apple buying Disney is not good for the country. It's not good for our economy. It creates the strike is causing this, by the way. So the strikers really wanted to break up corporate America, but they're hastening the conglomeration of corporate America. And what's going to happen is Hollywood's going to shrink more. We're going to have fewer companies in control of most of the studios, which is completely counterintuitive to what the strikers wanted. And in turn, it's going to purge them all. And, the talented people will still have work, but half the people striking right now, you're not going to have work when this is over. This is it for you. Learn the code, go to trade school, do what you drive an Uber. I do what normal people do when they lose their fucking job, because we're not entitled to shit. Okay. Unions are a false sense of security. If you were a coal worker in a Pennsylvania town in the 1800s, yeah, you needed some kind of collective bargaining. Still would argue against unions. But my opinion on unions is you are just taking on a different boss and ceding power to somebody else, ceding negotiation power. Again, you're not working in a coal mine in Pennsylvania. You're working in Hollywood, writing pretend. Okay, that is not a job anyone needs. It's not one that really adds much to the world when it comes to, listen, if if we get a Carrington event again, if you know what the Carrington event was, it was an solar flare from the sun that knocked out all the power on planet Earth. And if it happened today, we'd be back into the 1800s. But it happened in the 1800s, and it just fried some telegraph wires. But if it happened today, we'd be screwed. Would we need television writers? No. Would we need new YouTubers? No. Would we be able to see the YouTubers? No. I understand what my job is. I understand its importance in the world. Okay. What we need is people, laying brick, welders, engineers, electricians. That's what we need. Doctors that we can trust, that aren't getting paid off by giant, medical companies and big pharma. Yeah, there's things that we need. You are not something we need. You are a leisure. And I appreciate that leisure. And I think it's great that we live in a society to where we can have it. Capitalism is so great that it allows ungrateful fucks to complain about it. And that's the beauty of capitalism. So you have the leisure time to protest it. Try protesting communism in a true communist society. See what happens. The only reason why we get this good member berry in Ahsoka is because the Force is female. How can anyone think Star Wars is great again? Yeah, because Anakin was beat by Ahsoka in her own head, and barely, by the way. Cordova 2182, thank you for the $20. I agree. It was just a way to undercut another male Star Wars character, and I'm pretty sure that was the only dude. Well, there was the little kid, right? And Hera is an idiot, is a freaking idiot. Andrew Matthews for £5 British pounds. Free witch, find ball, bad guys get ball, chase bad guys. Ball map is a GPS. Ass soak her is so complicated. I know. The ball map MacGuffin help find the ring. Ring go to Thrawn, who we're going to see in the last 5 minutes of the last episode at this point. Not really sure. Check Clown Wars says unknown for $1.99. Lover of Green for $20. Why are some journal excuse me again. Thanks, Az and Garrett. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually fine. I'm going to have some hot tea in a second. Lover of Green for $20. Why are some journalists hell-bent on bringing back health mandates? Don't they know that most people are back to normal, or are they that out of touch? By the way, hail to the fellowship and keep up the fight for common sense. Cheers. Yeah, for years we got over colds just fine. People got sick. And this might come as a shock to some people. People die. We don't want them to die. It's very sad. But hey, let's lock down all the gyms and keep all the McDonald's open for science. It's fucking stupid. People get sick. I got COVID twice. That's fine. That's fine. Our cab driver today was asking us if we had the vax, and we said nope. John Perry Jr. for $9.99. Cheers. Thank you for the donation. Just dropped it and left. A mentee for $10 tried to send you a thank you super chat on Real BBC, thanking you for letting me know the round table opened at the round table restaurant opened in San Antonio by flashing your pizza on a live stream, but he must have missed it. Thank you. Well, he probably got it on a square up. A mentee, but yes, round table opened in San Antonio, and round table's awesome. They make a great pineapple pizza. They do. Dave Sargent for $2. Would you talk about how you do the business end of YouTube? I mean, that would probably be like on Nerdrotic Live. I'd be happy to talk about it. I don't have any secrets though. And it would probably bore people to tears. But I would say that I just have some basic bitch answers because I'm really obsessive and I'm consistent and I make a lot of stuff. And even when I'm on vacation, I'm always checking stuff and researching. It's just a lot of freaking work. But yeah, I would do something on Nerdrotic Live. Be happy to do it. Store it away like a fine wine and let it age. Star Wars. Ed Rojas for but the thing is that the wine has gone bad and now it's piss water. So you need to basically remake the wine, which I'm afraid that's what Disney's going to do. They're going to remake the original trilogy. They're going to do a hard reboot. It's the only card they have to play. Now this will drag out for like 5 more years. Will we see another Star Wars film in the theaters? That's a good question. We're not going to see one for at least 3 years because of the strike, because they haven't written shit. They haven't made shit. I guess like realistically in 3 years, they could have something out, but I don't think it's going to be good. And I don't think it's going to do well. And I think they know that. So they risk releasing a Star Wars bomb on the level of Indiana Jones 5. And that the brand it proves to them and even the most ardent Disney Star Wars fans that the brand is dead. So that's what they risk by putting it in the theaters, because you can't hide those numbers. That's why they've gone all in on Disney Plus. Disney Star Wars is greater than Toonami on Adult Swim. I haven't seen any Toonami lately, so you might be right. Nicholas Krause, thank you for the $5. Echo, yeah, I'm in a hotel room. Sorry, I'm not in my studio. I'm on a boomer laptop cam. Gandalf had to fight and defeat a mayor. Why? While protecting the Fellowship to come back as Gandalf the White to finish his job. Ahsoka just had to get a Meyer, by the way, is Balrog. Yeah, and he didn't die in the books. Okay. In the movies, he did, but he was brought back to health in the books. White to finish the job. Ahsoka just had to get shoved off a cliff while she failed her task. Right. And Gandalf is an angel. Like he's his body could die, but I mean, he is a being of energy. So Tim Chang for $1.99. Big time Sargon and Lotus Eaters. Oh, what a beach you are. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to big time them at all. It was I didn't have time. Sorry, Sargon. I am dreadfully sorry. I should have just probably looked up before I said yes. I should have looked up like how long it would have taken me to get there from the north, and it was just crazy. Sorry about that. I was surprised to hear you located a place in the UK with good food. I did. Max, relax. I found a couple of good places, to be honest with you. Bubba Doom 1, member for 9 months. It did my heart good to see you and Az together. Love you guys. Love you too. And we love the Lotus Eaters too. Hail chat. Hail Gary says Gary Walker has been a member for 39 months. Cheers. Ministry of Wrong Think. Why does that Disparu chick look like a UK cop? He just does. My God, that is a loud phone ring. Gary and Shad, full Wheel of Time watch and review when? Oh, I am not watching Wheel of Time all the way through. That is for Disparu. I think Disparu and Shad should team up to do that. But thank you, David N, for the €5. I think they would be great if they teamed up and did that. Wheel of Time was terrible. And I reviewed like with no knowledge for like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of his video. And I guess the Wheel of Time Reddit lost their fucking mind. Don't worry. I will just focus my time on the Rings of Power. Thor's World, a behind the scenes podcast for $20 says, hi, Gary. Been a while. Hope you have been well. While I launched my show, delving into the film industry's behind the scenes struggles, where my focus is everyday crew members. Hope you all tune in. Hail to the fellowship. Yeah, you guys are affected the most. You guys are truly affected the most, and it sucks. But the writers and the actors don't give a shit about you and never have. Lady Wendelin is a new member. Cheers. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Thunderstorm for $4.99. I hope the correct Shin kills the director of the odd camera angles and extreme close-up seeing scars actors got as toddlers. You're talking about One Piece? I got used to the extreme close-ups because it feels like, oh wow. I saw it like I'm looking at my tea right now. Sorry. I saw a green leaf. I'm like, whoa, is this like pot tea? No, it's not. Cheers. Thanks. What's that? Oh, thank you. You're wonderful. I got some tea. The voice is going to be so much better now. Thank you. Cordova 2182 is a new member. Phoenix Tangent for 36 months has been a member. Cheers, Gary. 3 years, eh? It's been 3 years. And what a long, strange trip it's been. Paul Demock has been a member for 4 months. Hey, people, what's up? Deep Pan for $19.99. That's British pounds, proper money. Hey, Apple won't buy Disney. They never were. They never buy companies on the fall. Good to hear you're enjoying our fine country. Apart from the meetup, any surprise highlights? It was a London bar. I doubt the owner ever lives in this country. Maybe. Not sure. Maybe it was just the person who ran it. I don't know. The surprises. The beauty of the North. That was a surprise. But also kind of how vibrant London is compared to San Diego, LA, San Francisco. Even Dallas, which is fine. Like London is hopping, like absolutely hopping. And it's different though. It's definitely different from the last time we were here. Little different. And whether it's London's fault or not, I'm over big cities. I'm over big city politics. I'm over crazy big city mayors. And you guys have a crazy fucking mayor. Guy Vermectin who's been a member for 19 months. Just wanted to see how long I've been a member. There you go. How long your member is. There you go. Hail, Gary. Hail, Shad. And screw. I'm trying to. What was the name? It's Shalagladiotria. That's man. That is hard for somebody who's been kicked out of 3 high schools. Sorry, Donald. Is Shad in the chat? Dude, if Shad is in the chat, let me know, Shad. Shoot me a message. I can send you a link if you want, if you're available. I do not know. What the hell happened there? What was that? It blanked out, but now it's back. That's good. Just watched a Mustard vid about the giant hovercraft that used to ferry folks epically across the channel, the channel, put them out of business. I'm curious how you and the missus are getting to France. We are using Eurostar, right? That's the channel. We're going on the channel. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it. Just going for a couple days. Star Wars is dead and will never be saved. The 6 movies and the EU is all we need. RIP Star Wars for $4.99. That's correct. That's kind of how I felt about Star Trek. You know, we got damn near 50 years of Star Trek. We got over 50 years of Doctor Who. You know, like season 8, Capaldi was good. And we're lucky to get that. That shows like that will never, ever happen again. The way things are structured. And just so you know, the strike will end. There will be a deal. A deal will be made. A deal will be made. But once that deal is made, nothing's going to change. If the writers get everything they want, they're still going to make a bunch of crap. And they're still going to have to deal with streaming, which they haven't been able to do. But you can't unmake the soup. You can't change it. You know who runs Hollywood now? 2 companies whose primary interest isn't Hollywood. Hollywood is a side hustle for Apple and Amazon. It is simply their vanity projects that they could just get disinterested in and throw away, kind of like Comixology. I mean, you know, Amazon is either a $1 trillion corporation or was for a minute and will be again very soon. Not really sure at this moment in time, but they are approaching or are a $1 trillion corporation. They don't become a $1 trillion corporation by throwing away money. They do cancel shows. They canceled The Expanse. They canceled The Tick. They will cancel The Boys. They will cancel Rings of Power. Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time's probably got 3 seasons. Same with Rings of Power. They will, when their stock turns even a little bit that we would barely notice, they will start the deep introspection and go, where are we wasting money? Oh, Wheel of Time, get rid of that shit. And that scares the death out of Hollywood because now they're not the most important thing. And quite frankly, they haven't been. They're just starting to realize it. They're just starting to realize there's other industries that are bigger, more popular, more profitable. And what is the main currency in Hollywood? Well, it is ego. Absolutely ego. So when you start convincing Hollywood that you are not the most relevant thing anymore, it shakes them to their soul. And this is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of the end. And they're just going to have to deal. They don't make movie stars anymore because people don't want to be movie stars anymore. We want more authenticity in our entertainment, and they are incapable of being authentic. Their whole brand, and this goes back, way back to the very beginning. Everything is manufactured. Everything is manufactured. Most everything is a lie. It's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work for society anymore. So we'll see what comes out of it. I'm not saying they're like going to go away forever, but you know, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to think that scripted entertainment might be kind of a 20th century model that new generations just don't give a crap about. You know what? You know what's killing in the UK right now is reality. This is before the strike, and the reason it's killing is it's cheaper. The producers get to own it, and they can license it out to America, And UK is into that cheesy reality stuff, and it's killing right now. It's absolutely killing. You don't have to mandate writers in a writer room. Now, it's like a lot of it's as woke as, the day is long, but hail, Gary, see anything cool at Clarkson's farm? The entire farm, Chris Foster, remember for 37 months, the entire farm. What we could see, I saw where the restaurant was. We got to eat in the cafe. The food was really good. We got to see the shop. We got to see the cow juice. Got to see the finished parking lot, and got to see the caravan park that was next door, or the campground, as we call it here in America. Crew Kid 52 for $5 says, "Hey Gary, thought I'd pop by and say hi during my last hour of work. Hope you're doing well, and it's interesting to see how we were right about everything." Yeah, that's the thing, is we've lost so much. I'm going to take a nervous drink in here. Excuse me. We have lost so much. A lot of the IPs that we loved, comics, books, but where there's a will, there's a way. We find a way to enjoy it somehow. So we have many people, springing off, making their own things, which is fantastic. We have new media, new independent media. It's not beholden to any corporation. I'll speak for myself. I'm not beholden to any sponsors. No sponsors are dangling anything over my head. And if they did, they'd be gone in a second. But Geek Grind would never do that. Neither would Meta PCs. But and we're free to kind of say what we want. And it's really rocking the boat. But we've lost so much. But yeah, you were right. You're right out there in the fellowship. You said Star Wars was shit. It was shit. Was it because of Rey or Finn? No. It was how they treated Luke and Han and Leia. It's how they treated Indiana Jones. How they treated Galadriel. How they're treating Spock. How they treated the Doctor. Passing on mantles where these aren't mantles. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. There are many other Spider-Men who are just pale comparisons to one of the greatest characters, if not the greatest comic book character ever created, Peter Parker. They thought you were idiots, and they didn't respect what they paid billions of dollars for, and now they're paying the price. You were right the whole time. Are they going to apologize, admit it? I don't even need that. I would just like stuff to get better. And if Disney burned tomorrow, I wouldn't shed a tear. Sir Marhouse, thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate it. In Paris, the Musée de Cluny is a great lesser-known museum where medieval tapestries, tapestries, this is a castle, isn't it? I like tapestries, by the way. They tell great stories. They're freaking brutal. There's boobs on them. Scott Kerr, member for 5 months. Is your One Piece review before or after Venture Brothers retrospective? A Venture Brothers retrospective is going to be when I get back, and it's going to be a live stream. So I think they'll probably come out around the same time. I don't know which one will be first, though, to be honest with you. Also, 10 plus year One Piece consumer. Please read more. You will like it. I'll read more. But I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not big on the art. I think the story's good. I think the story's really good, and that'll keep me going, but I'm not like a big fan of the art. Scott Christy Jones, a member for 19 months. Still have the badge I gave you, mate? Yes, I do. I'll never get rid of it. The one that basically says I'm special needs or a pregnant woman, and I need a seat on the on the tube. It's in a very safe place. My bag. Thor's World Behind the Scenes podcast has become a new member. Hail to you. Good luck with your channel, by the way. Patrick M., member for 12 months, says, it was cool meeting you in London. As a huge One Piece fan, I couldn't be happier right now. They really did a great adaptation. Hail to the fellowship. You should be happy. It's immensely popular. Word of mouth is making it more popular. You see the difference? By day 13 of The Witcher Season 3, Part 1, no one was talking about it. People are just getting started talking about One Piece. It is now, it's building up like a wave. Aim Genie for $5. What are the odds there's a sector of the WGA that breaks out and signs the worst deal than the one they were offered to get back to work? That's a possibility. Each side is going to claim victory, right? I think the WGA will get most of what they want. They did get significant pay raises. Again, big difference between the writers and the actors is going to be residuals. I would argue that the writers have more right to residuals than the actors, but it depends what you individually negotiate. This isn't show friends, it's show business, and you get what you negotiate. And when you cede your power to a bunch of people who are more interested in accumulating members and getting dues, they stop thinking about you. Everybody on the striking line is talking about like they were locked out. They weren't locked out. They went on strike. They voted to stop working. And now they're like, you better get back to the table. Well, wait a minute. Why should I get back to the table when you work? I'm not taking the producer's side. I'm just taking a very practical look at this. And let's just say creative people. I've spent my life around creative people. I am married to a creative person. Most of them know shit about business. My wife happens to be the rare exception who does. But most of them know dick about selling their own art. And it's much easier to be attached to a giant corporation and a union. It offers this safety net that doesn't exist. Again, if you're worth your salt, go write a novel. You're a writer. There's nothing that says you can't write a novel. Go write a novel. Write a comic book. Do your own thing. Break from the union. Make your own independent stuff. You don't have to be a member of the, but their identity is wrapped up into being part of Hollywood and part of the machine, right? The same corporate machine that they're now demonizing, they get all of their self-worth when that little, when you work, even if you're a contract worker for Disney or Sony or Technicolor, like I was, you get a little name badge. Get a little name badge. Get a little proud of that name badge. And it looks good on your resume. But now you want to break up these corporations? Well, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but your strike is making them more powerful. The bigger ones more powerful, just like the lockdowns made bigger corporations bigger, made the smaller corporations fewer, and killed small business, which is basically your farm system for business. Independent film is your farm system for film, and you're killing both of those. You're going to be off work and you want to go to that deli will be gone. That deli will be gone. And you will decentralize Hollywood because these Apple and Amazon, again, they have the most resources. They're going to produce the most stuff, and occasionally they'll make something good. They will. It'll be 1 in 100, though. It'll be 1 in 100. And then you think back to the 80s when it was way more decentralized, and we got so many good things. 90s, we got that great independent movement that was spurred on by Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino and many others. We got a bunch of great independent films. That's not going to happen from Hollywood ever again. It will happen again, but it won't be Hollywood. And maybe South Korea. Who knows? Maybe another country becomes the new Hollywood, or maybe it just gets spread out. That's what I hope happens. I hope, I know the unions want to break up the producers and the producers want to break up the union. I hope they all break up. It's a gig economy. I don't think it should be that scary of a thing to people. I think it's tons of options. I mean, like, did you think writing television, you were going to be like that guy who brought his lunch pail to the, work every day in the 50s, working at GM or Ford, and was going to stay there for 30 years? Shit ain't going to happen. But if you're out of work for a little while on a strike, drive an Uber. DoorDash. There's no shame in that at all. That's what it's there for. It's great. My stance on other religions is as long as you are a decent human being, I don't care who or what you believe in. I am the same way. Arir Samra. I have friends of many religions, and I got no problem with that at all. I love Shad. Melanie Mack is cool beans. Rufio 6789 for $9.99 says briefly got to meet you at the UK event. I was in the queue to see you, but we all got kicked out. Was smashed. But thank you for taking a photo with me outside. You are a legend and genuinely a cool person. Well, thank you. I'm sorry we got kicked out, and we tried to get through everything, and we just we need to get better at this. We're a bunch of we're all new at this. Okay. But yeah, so there were still people left in the line. So we wanted to go in front of the pub, and they kicked us out from in front of the pub. So we went across the street and we finished up across the street. And I think we got most everybody, but if I missed, I did miss somebody, but I saw them later. So that was good. We saw them in Oxford, right? No, Tower London. That's right. Tower London. We saw a couple Tower London, which was great. Who are currently probably on a cruise right now up north, they said. Hope they're having a good time. GRS, a member for 1 month. Having One Piece release on the same time as Ahsoka series really shows the drastic difference in quality. It does. And this is the same place that made The Witcher and Cowboy Bebop. So it's all in the showrunner, right? And it's all, but I'm wondering if the One Piece really was because of Cowboy Bebop. I know the creator was involved and he signed off on it, but we've heard that before. But it just seems like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys watch the anime, it seems like most everybody is mostly happy with it, which is really all you can ask for. You're not going to get perfection. Found Forbidden Frontiers a few weeks back, working through the back catalog, and now I'm watching Randall Carlson, Y-Files. Y-Files is great. Randall is great. Luke Caverns, great guy. And Joe Rogan Experience with the Alaskan Boneyard Guy. That is one of the best Joe Rogan experiences ever. The ones with Graham and Randall, the ones with Jimmy and Ben, watch that one. They just did one with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. That's really good. Got to get the Y-Files on Joe Rogan. Got to get the Y-Files on Joe Rogan. Y-Files is, fuck, that channel kills, man. It's so good. So good. Hey, I know y'all go over it on Forbidden Frontier eventually, but what are your thoughts on the alien reveal in Mexico? I think it's bullshit. Kendon Bronner, I think it's bullshit. I hope I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about anything. Any reveal, it's like, it's bullshit until I see some pretty convincing video. There's some stuff out there. Maybe we'll do that on Forbidden Frontiers in the next month or so. I'll collect what I think isn't bullshit when it comes to ancient civilizations, UFO footage, because I think there is really some legit stuff out there that is you cannot explain away. Like the Roger Lear Turkish UFO video. That is crazy because you see occupants in the fucking ship. It is nuts. And this is in a time, it was taken in a time where there was no CGI. You couldn't have done this. Is Az still dying from the Quarter Black Death and loving Forbidden Frontier, says Martin Bassett. He did a review today. He was supposed to stay in bed. Excuse me. He sounded like crap. He sounded like crap. I hope he's resting. He's probably listening right now. What's up? What's up, Az? What's up, Az? Alan Ing from Phil Threat announced on their stream that California is paying unemployment for striking workers who are 1099, which should exempt them. Matthew Hammond for 14 months. Yeah. So unemployment is something in California you pay, the businesses pay into, right? We all pay into it. Unless you're a contract worker, you're not paying into it. So they're getting taxpayer money. And that's fucking wrong. But that's your corrupt supermajority. Gavin Newsom. It is one of the bigger industries in California, so they're going to take care of their own. More people are going to leave because your taxes are now going to go up. Your roads are going to still be shit. You're still going to have tent cities everywhere. But thank God the background actor is able to pay their rent-controlled apartment for another month with 9 roommates who all eat top ramen and cat food, probably mixed together, when they could just be working at a job. And still right, by the way. It's not like writing is the only thing in the world you can do, especially when you're not good at it. You might want to find something else. And there's a lot of evidence that a lot of people are not good at it. And you know what would make the strike different right now, this very second? If they made good shit. They haven't made good shit. So as corrupt as the corporations and the producers are, and they are as corrupt as our government, they are fucking crooked as the day is long. The Writers Guild are equally responsible for churning out so much garbage. The reason they're churning out so much garbage, well, there's a lot of writers right now who are really good who are out of work. You want to know why? Color of their skin. They're not getting picked anymore because of diversity, equity, inclusivity. They put rules on creativity, which isn't really good for a creative industry. And it was invaded by activists who hate things like capitalism, which isn't really good for an industry that needs to make money. And they're going to continue because corporations like Apple and Amazon have horrible business practices. They support child slavery. They have suicide nets outside their buildings. All this electronic stuff that they sell needs batteries. Batteries need cobalt. A lot of kids mining cobalt right now and not being paid. I think there's a term for that. Wait, it's on the top. It's slavery. That's it. Okay. So they do this DEI shit to cover for their fucking horrific practices. Nike, all those companies do it. And a lot of people are falling for it because they put a rainbow flag on their Twitter bio, and all of a sudden they are your identity. But what you are is a sucker. The fellowship isn't suckers. We see what's going on. And yeah, that's unbelievable that's happening, but yet it's believable. That's California. Disney will be pulled apart for IP worth more that way. It might be super mastermind. I can't pretend to know what's going to happen. Disney is a massive company, and it pales in comparison to Amazon and Apple. And even like Netflix stock. Look at Netflix stock. It's in the 400s. It's ridiculous. I think it's highly overvalued. Like Amazon, Apple stock, I get. Those are valuable companies, worth a lot of money. Google stock, I get. Netflix, really? $400? I think it's a little overvalued, but I am not a financial analyst. Don't listen to me. Fractal Machine for 30 shekels. As One Piece lore master, skip the anime, read the manga. I read most great works of fiction from Dune to Asimov to A Song of Ice and Fire and Lord of the Rings, and Oda is a better writer than all of them. Ooh, I don't know about that. But he's really, really fucking good. He's really good. Really talented dude. I got a raise at my trucking job, Gary. In 5 years, I've gone from no job, overweight, and homeless to slimmer with a job and an apartment. Hail you, Joe Slayer. Hail to you, Chad. Hail to you. Thank you for the $5. Kiridan for $20 says, why would Apple buy Disney now at a premium instead of waiting for them to collapse under the weight of their own incompetence? That's a good point, and they're well on their way. And speaking of somebody who chronicles their demise, my boy Valiant Renegade, who's been a member for 31 months, says it's a London nooner. Well, not according to Mrs. Nerdrotic, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it is. Michael Hale, go check out Valiant Renegade. He just released a video. I watched it in the cab talking about the real budgets of Star Wars, which are woefully underreported, by the way. Michael Cockcroft for $4.99. Ahsoka is pretty entertaining. Mary Winston's rear end is worth the price of admission. And she's got a nice caboose. That's for sure. Mick Adams for $10 Australian. I remember some interesting stuff coming out of last writer strike. Can't see that happening this time or even at the end at the time. Well, what should have been, and people have written about this. This isn't entirely my idea, but the streaming boom should have been a renaissance, or as calls it, a renaissance. But it's a renaissance. And that's what it should have been. It should have decentralized Hollywood. It should have created more small, art house studios, because you can now make independent prestige television, which was taking the place of the independent film. And we were getting like weird, cool, like Counterpart. We're getting shows like Counterpart, a bizarre concept show that was like a Cold War thriller with J.K. Simmons, and it was fucking amazing. And it got canceled because it didn't make it, right? But we were getting concepts like that were really cool. It's like in the early days of HBO, we got things like Rome and Deadwood, I thought we'd get more of that, and it started to look that way. Umbrella Academy season 1, pretty fucking good. Altered Carbon season 1, pretty fucking good. Westworld season 1, pretty fucking good. Then Donald Trump and Harvey Weinstein happened. And it created a massive power shift, and a lot of talent was moved out. Now, there are some people who are complete scumbags and deserved, Harvey Weinstein deserved what he got. The guy was a piece of shit. But most people were moved out of their jobs based on pure accusations over hitting on women at a fucking party. You work in Hollywood. That one guy got ran out of Warner Brothers. I'm forgetting his name. The guy who Hamada took over for sleeping with an actress. A studio head slept with an actress. Well, that's what everybody fucking does in Hollywood. Joss Whedon, love him or hate him, his politics are retarded, and he has TDS, but he was mean on the set. That's why he was canceled, because he was mean on the set. I saw Mahler tweet today that they're doing because there's a bit of a Buffy resurgence going on. They're doing a Spike audio series with the cast, but with no Joss Whedon. Well, guess what? It's not Buffy without Joss Whedon. I think he makes money off it, though. I think he does make money off it. And I'm not saying he's a good dude. You don't cancel people for being mean on the set. It's not show friends. It's show business. Millions of dollars are involved. This is a creative process, and you're dealing with mostly neurotic people in a neurotic industry. You need to be prepared for something like that. It depends on the level of abuse. Of course, you don't want like constant abuse, but getting yelled at once in a while, that's life, kid. So we're not getting that renaissance now. Now we're getting the great contraction. Hollywood is experiencing shrinkage. Hello from Clovis, California. I know where Clovis is. Are you reading any comic books now, Marvel, DC, or Indies? I'm reading Mark Millar comic books. Outside of Isom and Graham's books, I am reading Mark Millar's books, and they are fucking incredible. Mark Millar is top tier today. Your thoughts? I completely agree. Mark Millar is the comic book industry right now. If you're out there, Mark, love you, man. Israel R for $10. Hail to the Fellowship. Roundtable Pizza is one of the few things I miss from living in California. Well, if you live in San Antonio, we have one, and I guess they're springing out more. Roundtable is excellent pizza. Excellent pizza. Restaurant pizza. Hey, Gary, do you think what will bomb worse? Aquaman 2 or the Marvels? Ooh, that is a really good question. Clown for $4.99. I'm going to say, as much as I'm rooting for the Marvels to be the biggest massive flop in the history of flops, I think I'm going to go with Aquaman 2, which will be the very first box office plop. Mine. I'm keeping it. Mark for $2. Hey, Gary, any plans for New York Comic-Con? Maybe. We'll have to see. I need to be home and make videos. I need to get home and make videos and make up for some live streams, do some Forbidden Frontiers. You see my kids and my dogs, stuff like that. But maybe. I am going to be at a meetup in Wisconsin in November. Horse lover fat for €10. Gary, have you seen the Mexican Congress hearing where they rolled out a supposedly real alien bodies? Wild shit that has barely been covered. Would be great for Forbidden Frontier. We everybody on Forbidden Frontier is talking about it in our very secret Discord. I think we all kind of collectively think it's bullshit, but if we're wrong, that would be fantastic. If they're real alien bodies and not just ways to smuggle in fentanyl, I would love that to be the case. We will check it out, though, once I know more about it. It was somewhat fun to watch. Started watching Star Wars 2008 with the Clone Wars. Contributed nothing to the story, though, says The Zone for $10. It was there to be a side cartoon as that. It's fine. It's harmless. But now it's not. HTK bass player. Remember, for 38 months, I used to wish for Robot Jock's reboot. Now, no way. No, you don't want anything rebooted. I saw The Crow was being shopped around. And I don't mind Skarsgård in the role. It's a perfect movie. Don't fuck with it. So, oops. Spit a little tea on my soundboard. Probably not good for the electronics. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Hang on. Let's get my sweatshirt. One moment. There we go. All hail Mel. The reason Gary can be awesome here. Yeah, hail to you. She's like, thumbs up. Hail me. Damn right. No. Ryan for €20. Just finished Ahsoka 5. Wow. They were okay for the first half, then ruined it with Jonah and the whale nonsense. What the fuck? Yeah, the space whales are freaking retarded. And we are 5 episodes in. If you have not watched Rebels or Clone Wars, do you know who Ezra is? Do you know who Thrawn is? No, you don't. You have no fucking idea. Do you know who Sabine is? Do you know what her motivations are? No. You think she just wants to go down on Ahsoka. That's about it. Goji the King has been remembered for 3 months. I miss when the Force had midichlorians. Yeah, if you're missing midichlorians, things are fucking bad. Matt Guy for £2 Loved your vid with Az was epic, like Batman versus Superman. Not everybody likes that, though. I don't mind it. Okay, Batman versus Superman is not a good movie, but I own it and enjoy it. But I'm not going to ever argue with somebody like Mahler and try to argue that it's a good film. Not going to happen. Wow, 3 years as well, says Keck44. Thank you, Keck. I appreciate it. I know someone who worked on The Rise of Palpatine who is a big Star Wars fan and believes you're racist if you use the word woke. Woke. Rise of Skywalker was shitty. Was it woke? A little bit. Solo was woke. Disney Star Wars is woke. Disney is woke. Hollywood is woke. Woke Hollywood. And yeah, your friend is woke. Sorry, but Nick XH for £5 Many people have asked me to stop using the word. And no, it's a nice 4-letter word that describes everything that's going on. And it's a word that we took from them. Because woke is supposed to be awakening, like awakening to the bullshit, to the injustice of the world. But guess what? You don't fight injustice with injustice. You don't fight racism with racism. Just doesn't work like that. So what woke really means is non-white. What it means is critical race theory, which is Marxism, which is connected to intersectional feminism, which is Marxism. And these come from giant corporations like BlackRock, who happens to be a top 10 owner of all the major studios and big tech companies that we deal with. Isn't that weird? There's also Vanguard. And I got to check the facts on this one. But Vanguard owns a lot of BlackRock, and they want to force behaviors. How do I know this? They've told us publicly, without shame. So it can hurt your fifis if I say woke, and I'll just say, somebody asked me like, "Hey, what's the behind the scenes of content creation?" The number one thing about content creation: have zero fucks to give. Respect the audience, but have zero fucks to give. I'll stop saying woke when shit stops being woke. I'm not going to be backed off of a word. And yeah, you know what? Me saying that, me putting it in my video titles keeps me from getting a lot of things. And I just remembered I have no fucks to give. Hail, Gary. I just started collecting 4K movies, and now I own around 30 to 40 of them. Yes. What are your top suggestions for my collection? Oh, boy. White chocolate. I don't know what you have. What I would have to do is I would have to give you like my top 10 4K. So, I mean, you got to have your basics, right? Apocalypse Now, Godfather, the original Star Wars trilogy. Buy that secondhand. Don't buy them from Disney. But there is a despecialized edition that somebody sent me. I'd probably get that first. Of course, you want to get the the 3 Indiana Jones films. You want to get the 1 Matrix film. Time Bandits is now out there. Not sure. Most of the transfers are okay. Of course, the one over all of them is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You need to have that. That needs to be the first thing you buy. Transfer is pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yes. If you just Google Nerdrotic Amazon, I have a page. And it's there for, I mean, if you click on something and buy it, it's like an affiliate, but it's not there for that. I don't care about that. You can buy it on your own. It's there as a recommendation list, but I'll do that someday. You know what they need? Outlaw Josie Wales needs to be on 4K like tomorrow. Stay safe, Gary. Can't wait for Vegas next year. I can't wait either. Release the McCracken. We will be in Vegas in April. Gary, did you see the alien corpses have been revealed in the Mexican Congress? This guy Vermectin for $5. I have. I hope they're real. I want them to be real. Paulo, member for 45 months. What is up? The one time you come to the UK, I'm abroad for work. What the hell, by the way? I noticed you weren't there. Sorry about London. The city has gotten worse in the past few years. It's worse than when we were here. It is. But I've seen worse in America. Now, I was in Wembley where we had our Airbnb where we did Friday Night Tights. And we were the only white people for miles. But no trouble in the neighborhood at all. We walked through with our luggage and our valuables, and I didn't feel like I was in danger. Now, it might be that I'm an ignorant American who has walked through Oakland in the middle of the night and just went, St. fucking Oakland. St. Hunter's Point, St. Compton back in the day. Hell, Gary, hope you and your family are doing well, says her in the Steadfast. For 41 months, been a member. We're doing well. How are the kids? Thumbs up? Okay. I didn't give a shit. We're gone. They probably just noticed today. The dogs miss us more. I know that. Alex Belfour for $19.99. My dad, when I told him that Disney killed Han, Luke, and Leia in that order without them sharing a scene, why would they do that? That's suicide. That's what his dad said. They're the stars of Star Wars. That's like Happy Days killing the fawns. Yes, it is retardo. V for Vignetta for 37 months has been a member. Once the sheen wore off, I was pretty disappointed with the Venture Brothers movie. One Piece was fantastic and I can't stand anime. Yeah, the Venture Brothers movie is good. I liked it. Is it a satisfying end? I'm gonna say kinda. It's the only one we were gonna get. It was fucked up. We were supposed to get a season 8. They wrote a season 8 and they truncated it into a movie, and they sounded apologetic about it, but I think they did the best they could. The Venture Brothers is still by far one of the best written shows ever. And One Piece blew me away. It's like, when I was done, I saw up to episode 7 with Shad, right? And me and Shad were completely into it by episode 7. We're like, next episode, let's go. And my God, the end of episode 7, what a great payoff, man. Nami became such a good character with that payoff because she was a human being. It wasn't girl boss. She was a human being. And you just gotta, I wouldn't even want to spoil the scene for you. It's one of the best scenes I've seen this year. So far, like Picard season 3 and One Piece are my favorite shows of the year, like by a mile. And they both have two of the most like satisfying scenes. One is complete fan service done to perfection. Did the one thing Star Wars couldn't. And Terry Metalis is going to go like in the Hall of Fame for this. Enterprise D, the carpet, the lights, that scene, the crew of the Enterprise D, just being the crew of the Enterprise D. It's such a simple thing. It's such a fucking simple thing. And we were talking about it with One Piece. It's such a simple thing. Just adapt the characters in the spirit of the characters. Don't shit on the source material. Treat it with the utmost respect. And apparently, like some of the casting involved, like you had to be an anime fan. So the girl who played Nami, lifelong anime fan. Sanji, I don't know if he was a fan the whole time, but became one. Learned how to cook, learned how to kickbox, fully trained. I mean, that's somebody who's committed to their job. And that's where you have respect for the actor. That's where you can call them an actor. It's like, I'm going to do this pretend thing, but I'm going to go all fucking in, and that's absolutely respectable and admirable. Even like I hated Terminator Dark Fate. I thought it was like the worst shit of the shit, but at least the girl who played the girl Terminator, like fucking worked out. Now she looked like Justin Bieber, but she trained. She legitimately trained. That at least I can respect. The movie's a total piece of shit. Antinatalist garbage. But yeah. Emmylou is a member. Thank you. And High Q for $5 says, Gary, I work in the North London as a trucker. Oh, I missed the meetup. Maybe next time. Have fun in the UK. I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. I love it here. I love it here. How's everybody doing? Not bad for an impromptu, crappy looking stream. Got 6,200 people watching. Thanks for the soups. When are you going back to talk about One Piece and the workers going against? Let me read this one again with a little more clarity. When are you going to talk about One Piece and the wokers going against it for not being woke? Says Oscar Guerra. I will discuss that in my review. But I think by next Friday, I'm going to suggest it now, just in case anybody's listening. Any of my co-hosts for Friday Night Tights, I highly recommend you watch One Piece because we're going to be talking about it a lot. I know Jeremy's watched it. Shad's watched it. Garrett's watched the first part, and I'm pretty sure he's going to finish. I know Az has every intention of watching it because he liked the first episode. So enough of us have watched it where we will discuss that, and we will discuss the wokers being pissed off because there are some, and this happens all the time. And this is what discourages people from respecting source material, because they're still under the impression that the access media has power, which they don't. And I'm thankful, and this is what I'm grateful to you for. They no longer have power because you took it from them. You've exposed them for the frauds that they are. Most of the access media now is either AI or some fake geek girl who wrote a blog and will take $2 a sentence to work there. Quite frankly, the AI does a better job. Entertainment journalism is just that. It's not journalism. It's always been opinionated. And the reason YouTube exists is because, especially in the entertainment sphere, I'm going to speak for the entertainment sphere, but I'm pretty sure this applies to a lot of other things like politics for sure, is enough of us realize like, God, they're full of shit. They're just full of shit. So I'm going to start going to a guy in his basement talking about a TV show because I can believe him or her, a gal in her basement. I'll just go to the individual. And enough individuals rose up, and now we are the media. Look at me. We are the media. So fuck them. And I think the one lesson that Hollywood will have learned through the strike is we now have had Barbie, which I did not like. Oppenheimer, which was all right. It's all right. Hugely successful movies. Massive runaway hits. Undeniable. The public loved them. They made shit tons of money. And One Piece is doing great. You know what's not going on right now? Press junkets. Even the Shield, John Campea. Hang on. I got a video for him. Let's see if even the Shield, John Campea, did a video the other day talking about, do we need press junkets? Which is fucking rich coming from him. Woke. Oh my God, there's a delay. It'll pop up eventually. Hey, here it comes. Now? No. God, that's terrible. Let's try that. All right. Well, whatever. John Campea came out and said, hey, do we need press junkets anymore? The answer is no. What a waste of money. So you don't think they're going to dial back on that a little bit and not risk their $100 million movie being tanked by some idiot 22-year-old actress who's got the life experience of a fucking snail, Rachel Zegler. Woke. That's not working. That's so weird. Oh, it's because I'm on a laptop. I'm in a hotel room in the UK. Well, Friday Night Tights is going to be interesting from Paris. That's for sure. I don't feel that bad right now. I feel like we're going to be okay. Feel like Paris is going to happen, Mrs. Nerdrotic. Religions are restrictive. That's the problem. Well, I mean, they're restrictive, but they're not, well, at least in this country, you aren't compelled. That froze up. Now we got John Campea. That didn't work out very well. So Atheist 7 says religions are restrictive. That's the problem. The problem is compelling people to believe into something. If somebody chooses, that's the beauty of this country. You can be a Scientologist, you can be a Christian, you can be a Mormon, you can be Muslim, you can be Jewish. It's all good. It's all good with me. Just don't make me believe in anything I don't want to believe, which the vast majority of people I know here don't. It's going to pop up like 3 times now because I pressed it and there's a delay. But you know what? That's a religion right there. Woke is the new religion. We have the academic religion that has forced science into being as dogmatic as the fucking Catholics in the 1600s. And of course, we have the religion of woke, compelling things like pronouns and speech. And this is fully backed by atheists, by the way, which is really disappointing. But, again, you can be an atheist. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I used to be an atheist. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But then I realized, you know what? I am just a dumb monkey. What do I know? And then I lived a little more life, and I'm like, man, it kind of feels like there's a plan. It's weird. It's weird. So that's why I don't have a problem with religion, because the vast majority of people are really cool and they don't push it on me, and they're just regular folks. I think they should be allowed to believe what they want. And I think spirituality is something that was missing from my life that I didn't discover until like after I relapsed, right? Didn't really know what that was. And it's wired into us. But telling people what to do, well, disappointingly, half of our country bent the knee. It was really, really disappointing. Some of the biggest disappointments of my life happened during COVID, watching half of our country bend the fucking knee. Fucking America, man. We were rebels. We're the petulant colony. We took no shit, and we took a bunch of shit. A lot of us did. It's very fucking sad to see. But what was great to see was a bunch of us didn't and acted like Americans. And a lot of people did that in Europe too. Good for you. But yeah, I'm have your pronouns all day long. Don't make me say shit I don't believe. The Women's March today tweeted that trans women are women, period. Trans women are not women for precisely the reason they don't have a period. They're not women. Stop telling me that men pretending to be women are women, because they're not. It's okay. If you want to be a man pretending to be a woman, go ahead. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. Kurt Metzger has a special out. Go check it out. Has a great skit on this very subject. Go watch it. Follow him on Twitter. I think it's on YouTube. Pretty sure it's free. Go watch his special. It's a 30-minute special. Kurt's one of the good ones. I think my chat just fucking stopped. Sorry, folks. I don't know if I'm catching or missing anything or what, but it looks like my chat just stopped. It does that. So we're going to wrap it up. If I missed any, we'll get it on the square up. I'm going to be doing a square up before I get home from last Friday Night Tights. Might be Thursday. I don't know. I am going to try to get on Open Bar tomorrow. Don't know. We'll see. It depends on how gay Perry is. Hopefully it's not too gay. Just saying. I don't want it to be too gay. Just slightly gay. Gosh, I'm really sorry. Hang on. I'm going to go to the chat over here to make sure I didn't miss anything. One moment, please. Oh, wait, I can't even put feeding the ducks on. That sucks. I can't feed the ducks. Let's go over here. There it is. Okay. I got something. Queens of the Stone Age did sing about the religion called Better Living Through Chemistry. Yes. Cocaine. That's a good song. I am so jealous you went to Jeremy Clarkson's farm, says Curtis D of Montana. It was great. Make the trip. It's worth it. Angry Happy Funball 75 for $9.99. Hi, Gary. Does Miles Morales is Miles Morales equals Ahsoka is Ahsoka? Yes. Regireg. I'm going to say that slow. Woke was a term used by Black people in the Jim Crow South to stay alert when visiting sundown towns. Liberals and conservatives have bastardized it, as they always do. But it has a new meaning now, as many other words do. Believe in God over tyranny. Bigot. That's me, says Judah for $2. I see that you're that you have a lot of Marvel fans on Reddit that love you. Ha ha ha. Dom and I am. They adore me. Okay. They adore me. They adore you and the fellowship. You know what? Go to the Reddit, the Marvel Reddit, and type in MCU and see what happens. You might get banned. Okay. Just saying. If you care about getting banned, don't do it. But they're not big on the MCU. But you know why the MCU stuck? Because it became the fucking MCU. Jorgen Jorgensen for $10. Man, these commies really burrowed deep. They can't wait to play both sides and turn us into dystopian capitalist communist dictatorships. See China for reference. Hail to the fellowship. Stay safe. Yeah, China. The only bad news for China is demographically, they're fucked. You know what? God, I think the biggest problem for America right now. No, I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying this. Is our government. That's the biggest threat to America right now. Is our government. Is the deep state. Right now, the deep state's trying to say that white supremacy is the biggest threat. That is projection. The authoritative deep state that has a bunch of unelected fucktards running it and running us are the biggest threat to our country. We need to find a way to shut the alphabet agencies down through hopefully elections, peaceful transfers of power. Woke people said they were insulting me, but it felt like a compliment from them. Biblical, assertive, steadfast, educated, determined, aka based, says Judah. Yeah. Don't let anybody slam your religion. Again, you know, I don't care what religion you have. If it makes you happy, cool. It seems to make a lot of people happy. And yes, it's used for wars and stuff. Not good. That's not good. It's been used for some horrible things, but again, we don't want to paint with a broad brush, don't we? We can with religion. So we can be bigoted towards religion and white people. Weird how that logic seems to work out. Michael Gonzalez for $5. Hey, Gary, have you ever read the Berserk manga? And if you have, what did you think of it? I liked it. I need to read more of it, though. I have up to volume 10. Mark the Cyborg got me into it. Thanks, Mark. Guy Incognito for 5 Canadian pesos. The woke mob created the word woke, so if they know and now think it's racist to use it, they're just telling on themselves. Bunch of clowns. Yep. Being called racist is meaningless now. And by the way, if you went to the meetup, we say this every time. If you look at the staff of Geeks and Gamers, if you look at the people who were at Nerdrotic and other places, I think our hiring is way more consistent with diversity policies. But here's the difference. If you looked at who I hired at the comic shop, well, you'd be shocked. I was the only white dude who worked there. I hired people based on their skill. I know it's a weird thing. Their ability to work, their knowledge of comic books. And they were quite good. Most of them were quite good. Some not so good, but most of them were really good kids. And they're all doing great things now. And the people at Nerdrotic, top notch. But yes, I did hire an Asian woman so I could do math. This is true. She's not allowed to drive anywhere. I love FNT and the crew. Thank you for opening my eyes. You are welcome, Vidman. 5,000 for $2. Appreciate it. Eric John, pizza artist. Go check him out. He's actually very talented. For $9.99. Cheers to Mr. and Mrs. Nerdrotic. Hope the UK has been a blast. How was Stonehenge? Safe travels back home. Well, the 10 minutes we were there were fabulous, right? 15 minutes. We got 15 minutes there. The tour sucked. It was too hot. And God, UK. Listen, I am not a commie. But my boy Mark, I give him a lot of shit because he's a peg leg. You know, he's only got one leg, and he's good for parking spots, but apparently not here. They made him wait in a 45-minute line in the heat. And we asked them, like, hey, can he sit down? Because he's kind of, because he happens to have one leg. And they said no. And they made him stand in the line for 45 minutes. A lady came down later and was quite horrified to find out that they made him stand up. But still, it was like, come on. That was messed up. Mark was a good guy about it. Me and Mrs. Nerdrotic might have dropped a few F-bombs. We'll be at New York Comic Con, finally getting to show my Kingdom Come Alan Scott cosplay to Alex Ross. Brightest Day audiobooks. Oh, you would look great as Alan Scott. You got the look for it too. I mean, before he was gay. Brightest Day. Sorry they did that to him. But if I go there, I talked to I don't know if I should say that. I almost blabbed and said something I shouldn't have said. I talked to a couple of content creators about going, and I had interest, but I'm not sure if I can make it right now. I really don't want to. I'm in enough trouble. All right, I'm going to apologize to the Lotus Eaters again. I did not big time them. I tried everything to get down there, and we just couldn't do it. I'm really, really sorry. I'm betting corporate entities will consume each other like cuttlefish. The Artful Sage, I agree. But then there'll be like 4 corporations standing, and that's not going to make anything better. So your strike is not making anything better. It's hastening your demise, Hollywood. Which I think it's at the Cascade portion. Like, I don't think you can stop it at this point. Visiting Az's flat. Nice. It was. He's got a nice place. It's tiny. It's like, it was as big as our house in San Francisco. Yep. It was as big as our house in San Francisco. I thought it was kind of nice. Got a lot of cool statues and toys. That's for sure. And I met Belle. I met the cat Belle. She totally likes me more than Naz now. I gave her snacks. Nick Ninov for 10 British pounds. Thanks for making Ahsoka watchable with your amazing videos. I've lived in Canary Wharf for 2 years now, and I don't think there is a better and safer place to live in London. It's kind of gorgeous here. It is. There's some really nice boats. The boats are like that we can like see down, and if anybody's living in them, yeah, they better keep their clothes on. Right down on that shit. But it's not bad. So the way I usually do reviews for Disney Plus, because I was asked about this, so I want to address it. I don't do a video review for every episode anymore. Well, I'll do like the first 1 or 2, then I'll wait for the because honestly, there's only 1 or 2 episodes to talk about. So I wait for it to finish, and then I will do one at the end of the season. I will do another one at the end of the season. Apparently, Disney canceled Bluey. My kids are sad. Really? And Tira Sadi for $2? Well, that's sad. As gets shipped for Truth Bombs, the Fellowship. You have my likes and my memes and my shit posts. Declan Lyons, thank you. We appreciate that. Give a shit. It's the internet, okay? I have been to some horrible places in my life, and there's nothing the internet can do to equal any of that ever. It's just words. Don't really care. People on Twitter try to throw like, you dealt meth to kids. How do you know that? Oh, I told you. And I guess it's important to point out that I was also a kid. So I wasn't some 50-year-old guy passing it out to like 10-year-olds. Okay. It was a 16-year-old selling it to another 16-year-old. Shit, honestly, and other adults. But yeah, That's the way it goes. I don't care. They know because I told them. It rained hard in FU. Oh, in FUK in Texas today, bro. I heard it rained in Texas. It rained here in the UK, and it was great. It was actually cold. Thank you, Tim Weber. DS for €5. We are truly reaching the end of times when the One Piece adaptation is hailed, and I quote, an 8 out of 10. Oh, sorry. That was probably appropriate. I accidentally hit that. I gave it an 8 out of 10. We are at the end of times. Smoke them if you got them. Hey, Gary, what did you think of Sunny Yorkshire? Also, next time you could do more to shout out the UK meetups. I could do more? We probably could. We probably could. Here's the deal, though. We stopped shouting it out because it was sold out. So we didn't. We could have done better. Mrs. Nerdrotic did a great job. Like, we had a hard time finding the place. We didn't know the land very much. When we come back, we'll have a better solution, but we're going to need help. We're probably going to need help at this point. We did the best we could, being a bunch of amateurs. Missed UK pals. I was in Zurich, wrote 6 kids' books and my first novel, Loving Freedom from Unions. Ahsoka and Disney are done. One Piece rocks. Hail to you. It's Obi Pixel for $4.99. Cheers. Gary, I work in North London as a trucker. Oh, okay. So we are caught up there. We're caught up there. Let's see if there's any more. Again, thanks for hanging out, guys. It was supposed to be a square up today. We didn't quite get to that. So we're going to do the square up tomorrow, hopefully. Hopefully my video comes out. enter my own studio again. What the fuck? How in the hell did that happen? Nice show. I know. Hey, this one's going to be privated, so it's going to end. It's going to end, but I'll put it back on. I'll put it up on Nerdrotic Live. I'm going to private this one though, because of that Ahsoka intro that I had to put in. So if you missed any portion of this, tell a friend, tell people in the chats that this one will be privated, so it'll be ended. I'll give it 5 minutes, and then we'll put it up on Nerdrotic Live. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy wherever you are. And we'll be back on Friday Night Tides to talk about One Piece and Ahsoka. And I've got a video coming out. But One Piece is 8 out of 10 for sure. My grade might go up. It might go up. And I don't care how late the review is. I'm doing a full breakdown review like I normally do. Full breakdown review because I liked it that much. All right. Y'all have a good night wherever you are. What's night here? It's like 9:42. It's probably during the day there. What time is it there? Hang on. I can find out because my phone tells me both. It's 3:42 in Texas. Have a good afternoon. See you next time. What are we going to do here? Let's see if this works. All right. What did I do? Fucking nothing. I streamed on a laptop. Bye.